what's going on with TRVL. Right. So, oh shit. So let me tell you. So I'm hoping that everyone watched my stream yesterday, even though it was bloody long. Apologies for that. It's hard to analyze in a short space of time when you're going into depth, because you also have to think, and like I'm trying to do a good job for everyone. This was my chart from yesterday, which I was drawing, okay, and I gave my reasons as to why I thought the price needed to hold this level of support, and where this was a good place to buy, okay. And I don't know if people are listening to me, and I almost don't think they're not, because I said the best way to buy would be to put limit orders. And do you see these wicks? These wicks, that's people market buying large quantities of TRVL. And ideally what would have been better is just to suck up the selling pressure, suck it up. And if people want to market, they shouldn't market 100 or 200,000 in one go. That's not smart. It's always better to market small amounts over an extended period of time, averaging in. Yeah, this is not amazing, but it can be good. It depends, and it all depends on if we go up or down. Yeah, if we're going down, this is not good, but if we're going up, it's great, because you've cleared the liquidity all the way up to the top of that wick. Okay, and so it has pros and cons, these wicks on top of candles. It just depends on the direction of travel for the price. Okay, when it comes to our support level, I can show you on all the exchanges that we had a really strong volume yesterday and also today. So this is on Bybit, and in the last 12-hour candle, if I show you the volume, we had 3.6 million TRVL in the last 12-hour candle. That's a lot for Bybit. That's a lot when you're considering. So before I drew this volume range, it was like here. Okay, so let me just pull it back a bit so you can see where it was. We'd obviously left the value area, and now when you update it, you can clearly see that the value area has adjusted and the point of control has adjusted too. It's come back into this support level. Okay, so that's, for all intents purposes, that's a bullish change in the volume area at these prices. That's kind of what you want to see. You want to see the value area move down. You want to see the point of control move down. It means there's a lot of volume being put in at this level. Okay, and when you're looking at the descent on the price, you can see it was pretty low volume from the highs 200, 72, 121, 171, 131. This is the buying, and then selling again 135, 143, 232, and then suddenly an increase right at the lows. You suddenly have an increase in volume. Okay, it's quite unbelievable actually, because all of a sudden people are selling at the lows of this range. Yeah, this is just a range. We're just in a range. We're always ranging, and this is the range. Okay, and we're at the lows. We're at the lows of the range now, and people are selling. People are selling the lows. It's very normal behavior when people don't understand what's going on. They don't understand that you should buy support and not sell support, and all of a sudden you see people are selling. People are buying too, but you have to understand what's going on here. People are buying, but to buy, if no one was selling, then the price would have come all the way back up by now, because there's a lot of volume being put in here by people buying. So they're buying other people's sells. That's what's happening right now. It's bullish, yeah, because you're getting increasing volume at the lows, but only if the support level holds. It's only bullish if the support level holds. The support level doesn't hold. It just shows that there wasn't enough buying interest at this major higher time frame support level to hold the price from going lower. That's what it means. That's the real meaning behind whether this support level holds or not. It's about buyers and sellers, and whether there's enough buyers to support this level, or whether the sellers overpower the buyers at this level. And I did say yesterday, maybe I shouldn't have said it, but if someone wanted to exit this project, this was the opportunity, because this is where the liquidity is. Yeah, this is where the buy liquidity is, at a support level, at a major support level, and it's where people can sell and fill their bags at this price. If for a lot of people that might be good price, I don't know, but if someone has been accumulating much lower down, they might be looking at this descent and they might not be content, and they might already be up still 100% increase in value, and they might be content, and they might go, well, look, let me just take all my profit now. And what I'm seeing in this sell-off, yeah, is panic, but also I'm seeing people look to exit and buy other altcoins. And I think that's what's going on right now. I think a lot of people are looking at a lot of coins and they've all pulled back. So when you look at my lists, well, you can't see it now, but there's a lot of coins which have pulled back. And so now people are thinking to themselves, well, I'm in profit here. On another coin, maybe I can go up 2 or 3x, whereas here, just to get back up to our major resistance level from our current price, we're only looking at about potentially a 1x, an 80% increase in value. And so we're back into resistance again. Whereas they might be looking at other coins and going, oh, that coin is in price discovery, it's whatever. And logically they're thinking to themselves, well, I could increase my value much quicker being in another coin. And so that's the kind of psychological behavior that's been seen, that I can see in the way the price is moving. And for all intents purposes, when you look at the way the price has descended, yeah, this is a sell-off. Yeah, it's a correction, but it's a sell-off. Yeah. Now, most of the volume, the good thing about this sell-off is that a lot of the volume is coming in at our support level. Okay, now I think that's quite bullish. If we hold, we have to hold. Now, you can't tell by looking at the 1 hour time frame whether this support level holds or not. You can't tell, because you'll lose it, you'll reclaim it, you'll lose it, you'll reclaim it. You know, there's something going on here. You can see the increase in volume and the price is holding. Okay, so clearly there's enough buy interest at this level to hold the price. We just have to continue buying to hold the price, continue absorbing the sells until everyone who is finally is willing to sell, sells. Just exhaust the sellers. So you'll end up with people who are no longer looking to sell at these levels or lower. Yeah, and this becomes effectively, if we hold this level, this becomes our lowest point of support. And I'm always thinking about the higher time frames. So in my kind of contemplation of the way the price is moving, I'm looking at daily, 3 daily, weekly, and that's really where I'm looking for a hold on the higher time frame. I'm not too fussed about whether it holds on the 5-minute time frame or the 15-minute time frame. I'm looking at the higher time frames, and so you can't really tell right now because the weekly candle hasn't closed. Look at that volume. Yeah, and we had similar volume here, that sell-off. And the good thing about this is that it basically structure held it, and then when we lost it, it just was brought back up. The price continued, okay? And so I really think it will be more bullish if we can hold above this level on the weekly time frame and start ranging in this upper range until we can start attacking that 9 cents mark again. This is Bybit, isn't it? Okay. When you look at when I'm looking at the other exchanges, I like to look at all the exchanges to see what's going on. This is KuCoin. Again, if I go back to the 12-hour time frame and look at the volume again, see another 3.8 million, 2.8 million. But for all intents purposes, no, this decline was a low volume decline. There was a massive buy at the high, 2.29 million. Okay, and this buying was quite good, and the selling is quite weak, and all of a sudden you're getting people selling. All of a sudden now you're getting people selling. There's a lot of buying and selling going on here, and it's really down to who wins at the end of the day. Do the buyers win or do the sellers win? I think for all of us, it's in our interest that the buyers win, because if the buyers win here and the sellers are exhausted, the price is just going to go back up. Okay, it will just do it on its own once the selling is gone. Okay, and obviously you want to see increasing volume in the increase in price. At the moment, the buyers aren't winning this local battle because we're putting in volume and the price is still kind of at the lower part of previous candles. Okay, at the moment it looks like the buyers aren't winning. There is buying going on, but you see these tails, these are also selling tails. You have to bear that in mind. So there are some people right now selling. Don't know who it is. There's a lot of selling going on right now. There's a lot of buying going on right now. Okay, and I think the best strategy would be for people to put limit orders or just market by small amounts, because what's happening is the price suddenly goes up and then someone just market sells into that. Whoever that is, someone is doing that. And so obviously if someone market buys, like yesterday you can see on KuCoin, there was a market buy, and in that candle, 4-hour candle, it was 2.2 million. It was 2 million. So someone bought that amount of volume in one candle in 4 hours, and as it got to 6.8 cents, someone just market sold into that. Okay, and why did they market sell into that? Well, because whoever bought pushed the price up 26%. Yeah, that's why. That's the why. So for someone, that's a good price. If you're looking to sell and the price comes all the way back up by that much in increase in value, that's a good price. And so it'll be a lot better to just absorb the sellers here, and then once they're exhausted, finally when the price starts to move up, then I think people will be less inclined to sell. Okay, I think the only reason people are looking to sell now is because they're looking at this whole move downwards, and they're not liking it. They don't like the price action, and I guess you could argue that I don't like it either. Okay, I don't like it because we put in lots of like support levels, and it was the price moved through those levels very easily. Okay, so it just shows you that there isn't enough buy interest at these levels. It's only interesting for people when the price is pumping, but when it comes to a correction, there's no interest. So these are, as far as I can see, psychologically, these are still unacceptable prices because people aren't willing to put limit orders at these higher levels. Okay, now that we're seeing volume coming in here, you can now see that, okay, people are looking to buy this level. And the problem is this, that if it drops, it's going to look really bad for this token. Okay, and I'm just preparing us. I'm not saying it's going to happen. The other thing you have to bear in mind is if we go up, because of the sharp decline in price here and here, we'll just probably do this. We'll go up really fast as well. Yeah, in the same manner that we came down quickly, we'll go up very quickly. And if we have enough strength on the way up, then and we clear these levels and they're defended, then you could end up with an inverse head and shoulders right here. It is possible, yeah, because the price action was so fast in the way it declined. If we start going up again, it's going to be really quickly, and then the question is going to be basically at this area of interest where you see these green candles, because if someone is looking to sell, then that will be the place to sell. Yeah, that will be the place to sell. Do they sell all the way down? Maybe not. You know, the price can correct. If that's our A, and then, you know, that's our B, and then it could go down for another C. You know, like there's so many variations of what could happen. I can't predict that. I'm just making this up, really. But the reality is that we're seeing a lot of volume here. So this is a really important level for people to defend if they're looking to defend. If they're bullish, they're looking to defend. And eventually what's going to happen is that either the bulls or the bears will win. Now, the only thing that I don't want to happen is I don't want to lose this pivot here. Okay, I think that would be terrible to lose that pivot. I think it's bad enough coming back into this structure. I think a bullish hold here would be perfectly we would continue the bullish idea, the extremely bullish idea. Coming back down here, it kind of reminds me of what happened here, where we had this kind of 5-day sell-off and the price only managed to close above these lows. So it was a higher low, but it was quite, I don't know if anyone remembers, but when the price came here, it wasn't pleasant for anyone. There was a lot of kind of unpleasantness in the Telegram channels, and people were really depressed. And then the price exhausted, no one else sold, and then someone just came and just bought that right back up. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you know, as long as we don't make a lower low here, and if that was to happen, that could potentially be acceptable. The only problem is, and this is the only problem, Bitcoin is correcting. Okay, whereas before Bitcoin was still pushing up, here we're seeing Bitcoin correct. Okay, and that's having a negative impact on whether people are hodling or selling or whatever. Okay, but I think it would still look okay if we held here and we didn't make a lower low here. I think that would be really okay. If we do, then we've not only have we lost the major support level, but we've also made a lower low, and that's the first indication of a change in market structure, and I don't want to see it. Basically, I don't want to see it happen, and I can't predict whether it's going to happen or not. I don't have a plan to sell if we start going lower. I'm not looking to sell. Yeah, however low we go, I'm not looking to sell. I'll be looking to continue accumulating at lower and hope that we find some lower support levels and snap back out of it. But you know, I'm not looking to push the price up either. That has to happen because of the nature of the market. The market has to do all of that. I'm not looking to move the price either. Yeah, I'm just identifying areas, good areas to pick up the price. Okay, pick up the token. We had a pretty like disastrous kind of move down here as well, you see, down, and then it kind of exhausted, and then it started going back up. And that's, I just want to see the price exhaust, the selling exhaust. And so this volume at the moment, unfortunately today the price is kind of at the lows and there's quite good volume. What if there was enough buy volume, the price would be back green, back at the highs of that candle on the daily. And so that's the difference that we're seeing now. We're seeing that the selling is overpowering the buying at these levels. Okay. When I look at gate, I'll see, you can also, not gate, MEX, you can also see the volume is quite high. Okay. Not as high as the other exchanges. And you can see here that the trend line that I had drawn, how we had a really nice reaction, and the price was brought all the way up to, on MEX, to 7 cents. Then it was sold back down. And I think really it's a massive error in the way people are buying, which is causing this behavior, because they're buying it all the way up to 7 cents. They don't need to buy all at once. They can just buy in little bits and keep the price from being sold like that. Yeah. And so naturally what's happened is the price comes up to 7 cents, and then someone is just market selling their whole position in one go, which is causing this decline. It's just what's happening right now. That's how I'm seeing the charts. Have we lost this trend line? Not yet. But it looks like we're losing it, huh? And that's not, you know, look at this. Another like today someone bought 4 hours ago. Just a market buy. Look at that. All the way up to 6. It's just really, it's causing problems. Because if we go down, it will only be good to do that if we now start going up, because then you've cleared the liquidity and you'll go up much faster. But at these levels, which are so critical that we absorb all of the sell orders at these prices, the problem is that if this person has bought up so much token, they have no more buying power, they've used up all their buying power, then what do they do if the price continues? They can't buy anymore, and that's something to consider. So I just think we just have to see what happens. I think we're in a really critical place, and you know, I'm buying as well, but you know, this is the market. It's not one person buying and selling. This is the market. So unless someone has $1 million and they're willing to defend this level, then it's got to be the market that decides what happens. Yeah, unless you have someone who's making the market and they're willing to hold this price at this level and absorb all of the selling at this level until it just completely exhausts. Doesn't matter how long it takes. If you exhaust the selling at this level, even if it takes 2 weeks, eventually the price is just going to go back up. Eventually it will happen, because you're just making a higher low and you're holding a major support level. But it just requires the selling to be completely exhausted. And the problem is that if Bitcoin pulls back again, yeah, then what? Then what happens? That's a real problem. Do people panic and sell? And then we'll be back at we'll probably be back at 3 cents if that happens. Probably. We get a panic sell and we make a lower low here, then yeah, it's not going to look good, huh? It's not going to look good at all. At all. Okay. And then potentially what you're looking to do is make a massive higher time frame inverse head and shoulder. It invalidates those ideas I have of the Adam and Eve, and it will invalidate the Wyckoff accumulation. It will invalidate those two ideas. But if we hold here, then those ideas are still valid. Okay. And kind of when I look at this, I'm thinking to myself, you know, you have some kind of, I don't know how, there's different lines, you see, that's the problem. So when I did it, let me go back to my other chart. You know, you've got these different trend lines. Trend lines are subjective. What really matters are higher lows or higher highs, or lower lows or lower highs, okay? And major horizontal levels. And so you can see we're in a major area of interest. This is a big area. Yesterday we reacted and we closed, we went all the way in, took the liquidity and closed up. Then people have been buying, going all the way up into that green candle, and someone has just sold off that green candle. We're back into the lows again. Okay. And so what we need is a hold here, and it could hold. It could be like a green doji day. If we close back higher, that will be a bullish sign. If we see a green candle, I think people are going to start buying again and stop selling, potentially, especially because of the context of where we are. This is also not bad because you're looking at an inverse hammer into support, but then tomorrow it would require massive buying pressure to take the price right back up. Okay, so we're in a really critical area. I do have the pivot coming in roughly about now. I think it's going to be here. I think we will hold, but it all depends on how many people are buying and selling. And I almost wish that we could have some kind of bullish announcement now. Yeah. And this is like you really shouldn't have bullish announcements when you're going into resistance. You should really have bullish announcements when you're holding support, you know, because that's what really needs to happen for the price to continue going up. It needs to hold support. You don't need to break resistance to go up if you can't hold the support after you've broken the resistance. Yeah. So here we break the resistance. I don't really care about going up if when we come back down we can't defend and hold that support. I would much prefer, I hate this price action, and I always said this was healthy price action. We could have just gently gone up, just gently break up, next level, and it would have been fine. Everyone would have been happy, and it would have been, no one would have sold really if this just happened like that, and it would have been fine. But this is harder because you have a nice little breakout, and now you have to defend that line again. You have to. It's really important. Okay. And I think we will, but we don't, no one can predict that. Let's just have a look at something else. And I just want to show you something else. So when you look at the this back test of this trend line that I've got. See that? We're kind of back into it now. It's a really important level. Yeah. It's a really important level, and it's like this. You see how we had a break and it's all the way back to test. Yeah, although this break was much more violent to the downside, this kind of feels the same thing but in reverse. This is the break, this is the test. So we're at the test now, and yeah, we have to see what happens. Okay, so if anyone is looking to pick this up, we're at a really important level that needs to hold. And if we go lower, We just don't want to make a lower low. We have to snap back up as quickly as possible. And the low that I'm thinking about is this daily low before we broke out, this one here. So I don't want to see this pivot taken out. If we do go down, let's just get back up really quickly and continue. And that will fake everyone out, but maybe someone with a large amount of capital is looking to buy low. I don't know how low, 4 cents, 4.5 cents. But then if it gets too close to 4.5 cents, someone could just panic sell and they could just drop the price, and that will be a lower low. All right, that's my TRVL update. There's nothing really to report except that this is really, we're at a really key level now, really key level. And I hope that if anyone is listening or watching, that they will see what I'm saying and do what they think they need to do if they're bullish. And if the people are selling, well, I think what you have to understand is that there's a lot of things coming in the very near future. We have the AI Sensei launching, the Dtravel app. We have the market makers potentially changing quite soon. That's going to make a big deal. And, you know, there have been some conversations about possibly other bullish things coming, like exchanges and stuff like that. So all of that is on everyone's radar. They're not like ignoring this price action. I think the team are very attentive and they're very aware that this isn't pleasant, and this kind of price action isn't pleasant, and it's not fun. You know, it's not fun to have a 50% decline on low volume. It's not fun. And for a lot of people, if they wanted to sell, they couldn't sell because the volume to the downside was low. All of a sudden we're into heavy volume because we're finally back at support. So there's a large gap in volume between 9 cents and I did a video on the order book. Above 9 cents there's a lot of volume, and kind of below this area there's a lot of volume. Okay, and we're kind of this whole area is a little bit gappy right now, which is why the price went up so easily and it's come back down so easily. But maybe it will go up easily, and maybe it will go down, and maybe we can make higher lows and finally break out. You know, that's what could happen if we hold this support level. Okay, and once we break 9 cents, we're going to 17 cents very quickly. Yeah, once we break 9 cents, we're going to head to very quickly. We'll head to 17 cents, and if the bullish momentum is there, we can carry on. Okay, it all depends on the momentum. And so when I'm looking at the daily time frame, I'm looking at the moving averages. You see, we're just right now today, look, we're under the 50 moving average, unfortunately, just like we were here. So if today exhausts and maybe we get like another green day, and then maybe right back up, maybe. All right, that's my TRVL update. I don't really have anything to say except that there's a price discussion channel, and it's an unofficial one. That's where we all talk about the price. It's called, let me put the link in the chat, and feel free to join that. Let's just have conversations about the price. Let's just talk about it. I mean, share ideas. A lot of people have different charts that they're charting as well. I'm not the only one, so I'd like to see other people's charts as well and what they're thinking, and we can share our knowledge, and then we can panic together or we can be bullish together. All right, any questions, anything? There's no questions, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to take another short break, maybe a 5-minute break. This is 2 viewers, I don't know, 1 viewer, who knows. Something else I noticed about TRVL, I'm going to show you right now. So get my indicators up, and I can see hidden bullish divergence. I'm going to show you the hidden bullish divergence that I'm seeing. Okay. Do you see on the MACD how it's come all the way down here? So what you have right now, from this low here, which is corresponding here, so from this low here to where we are now, we're still in a higher low situation. And you see here on the MACD, it's a lower low. So at the moment, there's quite significant hidden bullish divergence. So this decline in price is bullish because it's overdropped, it's oversold. Right now it's showing overselling, but obviously this bullish divergence is invalidates if the price comes now and makes a lower low here. Okay, that would invalidate the hidden bullish divergence, which is why it's so important that we hold this low. If the price now comes down here, then you're making a lower low and you're no longer showing bullish divergence. Bullish divergence is invalidated. Okay, so it's really important that we defend this low. I can't stress that enough. We were seeing hidden bullish divergence all the way up to this pivot here, see that, and all the way down to this. So there was bullish divergence here to that pivot there, and now the hidden bullish divergence is continuing. This move is not divergent because it's following the same path. So locally it's not divergent, but on a slightly higher time frame, you can see that there is hidden bullish divergences. Okay, and the same thing kind of happened here. When I'm looking back, I'm going to show you the same thing happened here. So this was our pivot, it was here, and you made a lower low here on the MACD, and you actually made a higher low. Okay, and that just snapped, we just snapped out of that because the low held, we made a higher low. Okay, so it's really important that we just hold this pivot, this low here. We have to hold that low. Now if for some reason we do go down here and hold the low, it's still fine. Potentially it's still fine, because it could just snap right back up. Okay, so it will look really bearish because it will look like we've lost major support lines, and potentially it is bearish, but as long as we have a higher low, we're fine. I think we're fine. We just don't want to make a lower low, because then this bullish divergence, this hidden bullish divergence, is not invalidated. If we go down underneath this low here, then we're making a low low on the price and a lower low on the MACD. So it's divergent slightly, but not really. It won't look good. Then we'll be looking for the next move. If that was to happen, you do put in a lower low here. That will be a lower low on a daily time frame. And then if you do go up, you'll be looking to put in a lower high. You won't be looking to go and make a higher high. You'll be looking to make a lower high. And that's probably the next expected behavior if that was to happen. And so I think if people are bullish, holding this area as support is bullish behavior, and we just want to see bullish behavior continue. We want to see that behavior to continue, and that's going to give people confidence to keep on buying. As long as we're making higher lows, people will continue buying, and we have to bear that in mind. If not, if we start putting in lower lows now, then we just have to see where the price comes down to find support, because then potentially you'll be going, that will be the inverse. If we make a lower low here, that is not a V-shaped recovery. It's the opposite. Yeah, it's the opposite. But it only becomes relevant if we make a lower low, which we haven't yet. Okay, so as long as we're not making a lower low, you can remain bullish. Your sentiment is bullish. Does that mean this price is the token is going to zero? No, it doesn't mean. It just means it will be another opportunity for people to buy, basically, at lower prices. Those people who sell will sell, and I think that's really important. So it could be it could get quite violently aggressive to the downside, because I think there's a lot of people here who are still in profit, and people don't like to suddenly lose their profits and go into negative, and they'll probably sell. They won't take profit, but they're not going to. People are usually not willing to take a loss when it comes to the price action. Okay, unless they're long-term hodling. And the other thing I wanted to do is just I just wanted to update the volume range on all of these charts. I'll do it on the overall range, the overall price range, and you can see right now that on MEX we reacted off the value area high, and now we just have to see what happens. Do we get acceptance back into the value area, or do we just get a rejection? Okay, and so this is really critical for TRVL as to what happens next. We're at a really important area. Yeah, it's really bullish if the value area high of this overall range holds as support. Really bullish, and that's what you would expect for bullish continuation. If it doesn't, then you're back into the volume area, you're back into the value area, and you've lost the major support line. That effectively becomes resistance, and then you'll probably see a sell-off, and probably the next place of interest to pick up this token will be the point of control back at 3.1 cents or thereabouts, and that's going to be another potentially, if we lose this lower low here, this higher low, if we lose it, then you're potentially looking at another 30% decline in price. Potentially that's what could happen. The problem is that then there's a lot of work to be done. You have to get back above these flips, above these resistance lines. There's a lot of work to be done then if that was to happen. Okay, so I'm not thinking about it now, but I'm just saying that if we do make a lower low, then actually the next place to buy will be the point of control at about 3.1 cents. Unfortunately, that's the only caveat to that. Is if suddenly some big whale comes and buys the whole lot, like 20 million tokens at market, just whatever. And even if you make a lower low here, if someone was to just do that, push the price up and then make a higher high here, then actually your pivot is here, and that's your low, higher low, and all of these are irrelevant because you've made a new higher high. That's the only way that you can reverse and continue bullish continuation, is if you make a lower low here, you have to make a higher high. You have to. It would be the only way to change this from bearish to bullish. Okay, so there's some things that needs to happen if we do make a low, but at the moment I'm still thinking that we hold. I don't see why we don't hold. We put in there's a lot of volume that's coming in at this level, so a lot of the sales are diminishing. Like there's only so much that there's only so many people that are selling, and there's only so much selling that can happen. So really it's down to seeing how strong the buyers are. So let me just do I'll do a volume range pull on all the charts. So you can see on gate the volume area is a lot wider. The main reason why gate the volume area is much wider is because at the beginning of this price launch there was a lot of volume put higher up. Yeah, and that's why this is slightly wider. If I was to ignore that top data and just have it from here where we come back underneath 9 cents. We went above the volume area and we lost it, and we're kind of heading back down. Have a nice day, Alba. Have a nice day. You too. And then let me just have a look at the other exchanges as well quickly, just to see if there's anything interesting on the volume there. This is similar to gate. Yeah, similar to gate. We kind of got above the value area and we lost it. The good thing about this, getting above and losing it, the next time we get above it, the next time we get above 7 cents, 7 and a bit, then it'll probably hold. Like if we were to just hold support now and head right back up, the next time will probably hold. The next time, the chances of us holding the next time increase. You see, the first time was an immediate rejection. This is a failed auction, and the next time will be acceptance. That's kind of what I'm thinking when it comes to the way the price behaves around multiple attempts at obtaining newer levels or reclaiming higher levels. So let me just do this on Bybit. Let's see what Bybit is like. Again, same thing. Now, the other thing that I've got, which is really interesting, is that if you do a volume pool, just on this top part, you will see the actual, we're still within the value area. Okay, so the top part I'm contemplating is when we exploded up till current price, and you'll see that we're in the volume area and the point of control is only just above us. Once we get above there, above 5.5 cents, then we could potentially find support for continuation potentially. Okay. Let me just do that same thing with all of these actually, because it's good to see where we are in relation to the way the volume has been put into this range. So yeah, so you see on KuCoin, the point of control is right at the top, and now we're starting to put volume in at this level, so potentially this volume area could change, but we've lost it. We've lost the value area. This is much higher at 6 cents on KuCoin. Let me try Gates. So unfortunately, these different exchanges all have similar levels of volume, and they all behaving slightly differently. And so yeah, so gate, you see we've lost the value area, we need to get back above it, but you can see here that we are putting in volume here. So hopefully a sign for bullish reversal would be to put in enough volume here for this value area at this local level to change, and for this point of control to change. Okay, that's gate, and let me just try max. Okay, so get on MEX is we are still within the local range. So on 2 exchanges, we're still within the volume area of this upper range, and on 2 exchanges, we've lost it. The only way for that to change is to put more volume here. More volume here, more volume here. As long as the price doesn't go down, then what will happen is that the point of control on all of the exchanges will come to the lower part of this volume area. And as long as the value area of all of the exchanges comes to the correct place where we're within the value area, then you're effectively you're at the bottom of the range and the price can start going back up again. That's pretty much that. You can see we're having a little bit of a sell-off on TRVL against Bitcoin as well. Okay, very extended sell-off, and we're back at the value area low. So that, for all intents purposes, this whole price action here was a failed auction of the highs. So we kind of trying to get up and then we just failed. And the reason why we failed, you could say it's Bitcoin, but actually the reason is something else. The reason is that at these higher prices, people were not willing to absorb the selling pressure. They were willing to buy the pump, but they weren't willing to absorb the pullback. And there were people who are looking to absorb the pullback are looking for much lower. So we haven't got to a place yet now in terms of the price where people are willing to absorb the price at much higher. Like, it's a psychological thing. When people get so desperate to accumulate this token that they're willing to put their orders at higher prices. We're not there yet, it's obvious. And let me have a look at this. There was a big sell-off against ETH. Okay, and I wanted it to go up. It didn't do that. That's fine. That's normal. And actually, we're just within this range. The whole range, actually. Nothing's really changed. We're just range bound on ETH. Let me just do the whole thing. See, on ETH, against ETH, we're back into the point of control of this range, back into the value area low. Again, it's the same thing. We have a little bit of a failed auction here, but now we're back into support. So I can see that we're back into support on all of the TRVL charts. And we just have to see what happens. We just have to see if there's going to be more continued interest or not. And I think a large portion of that has to do with Bitcoin as well and what Bitcoin does. People get a little bit panicky when Bitcoin is kind of doesn't pump, it kind of corrects. But I mean, this is the moment to accumulate. This is the best time to accumulate your altcoins. And then the question is, are people going to be accumulating TRVL because they're bullish, or are they going to be accumulating other coins? Okay, so that's my TRVL. I'll put that in a video and I'll post that later.